Alright people, let's get this going, shall we? Welcome back. How we doing? What's going on, guys? We have a couple things that we gotta talk about. How we doing? We live? We look live. We look good. Okay. Let's get this thing rolling, shall we? Gotta make sure I'm unmuted too. Hello, welcome back to GVS. We got some sports stuff that we gotta talk about. We had a full day of hockey, and so I thought in this stream some things that we could go over because I've been procrastinating. I'm not gonna lie, I've been procrastinating hard. The video that I was gonna make today, it was an NFL one, and it was about just variable, and I was gonna talk about that because I've already done like looking at some things that I got to do. Teams that I think can win the cup. I could probably do that video like once the playoffs is set. When the playoffs is set in stone and all the the matchups are set, we can probably make that prediction video. But there was the variable one. We already did the ABS ball and strike one. We've already done that. I've already done a mock draft. We can get working on our second mock draft. But so I was gonna do that video. Never ended up getting around to it because today was just full of hockey, and I got very tempted and just watched hockey all day. Just nothing like Bruins, Lightning, Pens, and then Capitals, the national championship with the college, and then in the primetime hour, Vegas and Colorado. Which, funny enough, see what happens when there's not an actual blackout restriction and I get to watch a Colorado game. Look at that, it ended at 8 o'clock. Look at that, it's not freaking midnight over on the east or something, because it gets ridiculous. Like, you look at, like, let's go hop over in the NBA landscape. Oh, they didn't play any games today, what the heck? Well, that makes sense because the NHL did not play any games the other day. See if there's any other games. We got any other games that are still live? One. San Jose. Look at that. California West Coast. So we got one game that's still live. Versus, I mean, if we're over there on the East, Chicago kinda. Pitt kinda. Like the East Coast games will end. Like the Knicks will wrap up their game and it'll be a primetime like 6 o'clock game or whatever over there. But then you'll look around and it's like, oh, the Clippers game just tipped off, and it's like, I can't even imagine, how tired it is for some ESPN employees where it's like, we go home at 2 a.m. every single day. All right, well, let's get into what we saw. Sure, let's go over our first game. This game was kind of, I would say, pace-wise, not as quick as some of the other games. This game, just like the Penguins game, started out really slow. No goals in the first. There was an onslaught there in the second period. For the Penguins game, we'll get to it. But as you guys can see, Bruins had a 1-0 lead. But then in the third period, that's when Tampa Bay took over. Ended up winning this one 2-1. Shots on goal, favored Tampa. Shots on goal were a pretty reoccurring trend in a lot of the games. The Vegas game, the Denver game, freaking the Penguins game. When we look at shots on goal, there were 8 shots on goal in the Penguins game, and 3 of them were a goal at one point, because the Capitals just outshot the Penguins. But like, the Penguins were only down by 1 goal. This was when it was like 3-4. It was weird. But okay, so we got that one. Wire saw it. These two, if the playoffs, which in fact, let's get a tab open for it. If the NHL started today, let's go look at the playoff bracket. We can talk about Anze Kopitar as well as. No, they're not slated to play each other anymore. Boston, okay, because they were up here. Where if Tampa won their series and Boston won theirs, they'd be slated to play each other in the second round. Clearly, that is not something that might happen. All right. But when I look at this, I mean, I was hearing during the interview, a lot of guys are excited for this game. I am too, in ways, and I think I'm gonna kind of agree with what PK said about how this game might be closer, and this series might be closer than a lot of people are giving it credit for. Because I think, I don't know, there's something that tells me that the Habs can maybe get a win or two under their belt with this one. I could be wrong. I don't know. But what else? Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, them getting set to link. That looks. I still like that one. If this one can still sit how it does, because again, this one's going to be fun. Edmonton. They also talked about the potential of Draisaitl coming back for the playoffs. I don't think he can. Let's look at. I thought he tore his ACL. Let's look at an injury update. Oilers announced Leon Draisaitl injury update. That is close like that. Could extend into the postseason. Yeah, it's like, dude, the dude freaking tore his ACL. He's not. Because when it was announced, they announced he will miss the remainder of the season. What am I looking at here? Lower body injury, second degree MCL sprain occurred during the first period March 15th against the Predators. See, yeah, again, lower body MCL. One to 12 weeks, and if this was about a month ago, grade 2. They said grade 2, right? Moderate, 4 to 6 weeks. Partial tear requires a brace. Now, I will give credit because hockey guys are a lot tougher than basketball guys, where, you know, some guys have played on broken bones, you know, and played through discomfort. I'd give a lot of credit to, yeah. I would think he could come back if it was just this. All right. Okay, let's keep it rolling, shall we? Okay, yeah, but 4 to 6 weeks. He's been out 4 weeks already because we're around a month. If they can get past Anaheim, he could probably be there for the Vegas series. But then again, that's if he's going along with the timeline and still healthy and good enough to go. Because if he's not good enough to go, he's not a go. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna shut that down real soon if he's not good to go. Okay, let's look. What else? All right. So that was the first game. Let's go to the second game between the Penguins and the Capitals. Dude, this one was kind of, I'm not going to lie, this was false advertising. There was no Sid, no Gino. This one was kind of just happy little Penguins out there with no captain against the Capitals, who are itching to try to get into the playoff spot, which I don't think they've mathematically been eliminated yet, but there are, yeah, as you can see, the Red Wings have been eliminated, which I got a couple funny videos to show. If I can get it queued up, we're going to show a couple funny videos, but the Islanders, they're going to be eliminated here any second now. Division, because wild card. Oh yeah, unless 94, 90, again, they have to beat who's in front of them. I guess that, so either they play the Flyers or they play Ovi in the Capitals in the first round. Who do they got coming up? Oh my gosh, they play the tomorrow? No. Oh, but is this game back in Washington? It is back in Washington. And then they play in Columbus. Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard they were talking about it during the broadcast that ticket prices to this, okay, as low as 153, that is a crock. They were talking about how it was like $300 to get into the building because it could potentially be Ovi's last game. Now, do I think it's going to be Ovi's last game? No, absolutely not. I think Ovi's still got more left in the tank. But again, we'll see what he says. How have they been since coming back from break? 1, 2, 3, 3-3, 4-4, 6-5, 5-7, 8-7. Okay, they've been a 500 team since coming back from break. Okay. Now where is Philly? Can they catch Philly? Because again, Philly's riding the hot hand right now. Philly is a really hot team. Look at let's go to the standings. Where's Philly? Look at Philly in their last 10, 7-3. I will say too, the biggest thing that I saw too when it showed their overall record, why the Penguins are in the postseason versus why the Capitals are not. When the Capitals lose, they just lose. They don't win they don't lose in overtime, and they don't get to overtime. Look at how many 9 they've lost. Now I don't know how many wins were in OT, but 9 overtime losses versus the Penguins, who have 7 more. You know, if you spot Washington 7 points, get them up to 98. Look at that, dude. They're second. They're tied. And today would have split the head-to-head. Today would have split the head-to-head point-wise with the Penguins. But I'll be honest, I don't know if that's how hockey rolls. I don't know. I don't know what the tiebreaker and the tiebreaker rule is typically. Okay. Now we've seen Colorado and Dallas play. We've seen Dallas and Minnesota play. Let's go to our game breakdown for what the Penguins versus the Capitals was. Kind of like I said, there was a scoring onslaught in the second period. It was crazy. Just it was nothing, and it's like, hey, this could be a pretty close game. Let's see how it goes. And then all of a sudden, look at that. 7 points alone in the second period. And Pittsburgh, the other thing too is the score looks pretty here. We had an empty netter in garbage time, okay, and then this Protas goal, because the Protas brothers had 2, but they were you see Protas's name there, I mean, they were involved in a lot of the goals today. But look at this, 12 shots. I think, and this is kind of how it felt watching the whole game, Washington was keeping the Penguins out of the zone. I wouldn't throw this game away because, Sid's not playing or Gino's not playing. No, not going to just throw this game away. I think it is very concerning where even without your, because truthfully, okay, how many shots is Gino going to take? Maybe one or two if he's horsing around. Crosby, maybe three. All right, so I mean, let's go look at, because Ovi didn't have any goals, and then he, like, there in garbage time had the empty netter. Let's go look at Alexander Ovechkin goals, shots. He had seven shots on goal. Well, he is Ovi, but let's go look at. Let's go look at this Panthers game, because we played the Panthers back to back. Okay, one goal, 2 assists. Let me see how many shots on goal Crosby had in this game. 4. Okay, so yeah, you have his 4, and then Gino on a good day, 2 assists, 2 shots. You know, it would have brought your totals up to maybe. Let's go back to scores here. Gotta go back around the horn to get to it. Did they give Ovi the 1 star of the game? Oh my, come on. Oh, it's probably because it was his last game there. Potentially. That makes sense. That makes sense that they get, because it's like, what the hell? It makes sense. A little tip of the cap. But so you add 6 more shots, 7 more shots, bring it's still under 20, and that's not good at all. I mean, I will give him credit on the physicality. A little bit more physicality there. But, again, I think the swing, there's a big swing right here with these 2 goals that made it 3-1. And then it was around here, because I will be honest, I was cooking lunch during the first period. I didn't actually see that Crosby wasn't playing till after the Tom Wilson goal, because I was like, wait a minute. And then I looked it up, and it's like, oh, he's out. Because, you know, there's shift changes, and when you're kind of multitasking, you know, you assume, oh, yeah, they're out there. But no, that's not how it was. And you can see, got back into it a little bit, 3-2. But then Leonard made it 4-2. Hayes made it 4-3. And then in the second, that's where they just kind of pulled away. I'm thinking if there was a goal in the third, maybe, you know, instead of it being 5-3, 4-4, cut back into it 4-4, maybe, or, you know, they score and then we come back, make it 5-4. I don't know, but I think with how close the Capitals are, again, they got to win a couple more, and then Philly has to lose. I didn't see who Philly has. So the Capitals have the Hurricanes. No, come on. Which, okay, you beat. Wait, no. Oh, what full schedule? They have the Hurt. Oh my gosh. Okay, maybe they could. Maybe they could get in. I don't know, because these are actually both home games. Montreal's doing real good right now. And Carolina is the 1 seed in the East, so I don't know. I mean, and as you can see, 7-3 in their last 10. If they wrap up business, they secure the 3rd spot in the Metro versus, yeah, they could probably get it done. Not to lie, they could probably get it done. Caps probably need a little bit of help to get into the playoffs, but we'll just see. Right now, as it sits, this is what it'd be at. Okay, hold on. There's been a little bit of shifting. Okay, Vegas is up here, because Vegas, with their win tonight, they did clinch a spot in the postseason. That was not there originally. They're sitting down here with the Ducks, and it seemed a lock that Edmonton would play Utah. But yeah, there's been a lot of shift. You know what hasn't changed though? This matchup hasn't moved an inch, and Buffalo. Buffalo hasn't moved too much. Well, but I think I don't know. I don't know. It makes no sense that both number one seeds aren't right here. Well, hold on. Wait a minute. Let me time out here. Is Buffalo the number one team in the East? See, I knew that was a crock, dude. Yeah, again, I don't know why the play, because in the NBA, you look at the NBA, you look at an NBA bracket, you look at an NFL bracket, you look at March Madness brackets. The one seeds are always at the top, the two seeds are always at the bottom. Something like that, because it does the, you're one up here, you're two down here. So if they play out and they got the one seed over here and then the one seed right. It's so weird. Hockey always does this, because I was going to, for 2023 it was, I was gonna start to get some plot points to talk about just a hot take, because I'm going to make a video on NFL hot takes for the draft, which, in fact, let me, what's a spoiler alert one I could give you? Let me give you a little spoiler alert for my NFL draft hot take. Let's do one right now. Right now, okay? Here it goes. All right, so here's a hot take. Chiefs still get Jeremiah Love. Lots of murmurings all offseason about the Chiefs drafting a running back and getting a running back at the 9th spot. A week or so later, they traded for Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker III. I think they still double down and get Love at the 9th, because I don't think any other team, because here's the emphasis, I don't think any other team would risk trading up to get a running back in the top 10, unless he was Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley. You look at Ashton Jeanty. I still, Cam Scatterboot and Ashton Jeanty, those were my top two running backs last year in last year's draft class. But, running backs have been kind of unless your name's Ezekiel Elliott or some of the other running backs that I've listed, they don't go in the first round. Running backs and linebackers weirdly are a day two staple, but I was just, the spoiler alert would be, not very many college running backs, unless your name's Derrick Henry, are a phenomenon coming out of college where it's yes, we're willing to sell the house and trade up to go get him. And so that was my hot take, was that the Chiefs would not budge from that number 9 spot, because calls are going to come and people are going to be like, hey, what do you want for this? What do you want for this? And I was thinking that they still go, you know what? No, we want Love, and they stay there. And then look at that, they have Love, and they have Kenneth Walker. A really decent running back room headed into the 2026 season. Because you look at Jets, Cardinals, Raiders, Browns, you look at all the other teams that are in front of them, they could use a running back, because obviously, it's a running back, it's Jeremiah Love, but it's they wouldn't do that, because when you compare Jeremiah Love to Saquon Barkley, Saquon Barkley was better in college. You compare Jeremiah Love to Derrick Henry, you knew Derrick Henry, so anyways, that's a spoiler for fun. But one of the hot takes, coming back to it, what I was going to do is I was going to do a hot take kind of for the for this year's NHL playoffs, because the Colorado Avalanche just clinched the 1 seed, and the hot take that I was going to say is the Colorado Avalanche get eliminated in the first round, because the last time they were the 1 seed in the West, they got eliminated too. But then upon doing further investigation, they were actually the 3 seed that year. And then when you go to, and then I look and go, wait, what the hell? Look at this. Look at this BS here. Again, when you look at it, doesn't Colorado look like the number 1 seed? Because Boston's over here. Boston's the number 1 seed. Boston had all the points. They were the best team. So it's okay, you have your 2 1 seeds sitting up here at the top. Nope. Vegas. Vegas was your 1 seed. So you have the number 1 Vegas over here, and then all the way over up at the top, opposite corner, up in that Panthers quadrant. Because I know it's cropped weird. Sorry that you guys can't see it. It's like, it's so weird versus, like, let's just look at 2026 NFL. Oh, will you look at that? Will you look at that? Seahawks and Broncos are neck and neck right there. Just boop, boop. Just the 2 seeds. The 1 and the 2 seeds, they're chilling right here. It's as if it would be like having the Seahawks right here and then the Broncos down here. Like it's only the NHL that does this. It's so weird. And I'm thinking it might, which if I... Hold on. Hold on. My... playoff bracket. Let's do 2024 as well. Because last year, the Jets... Where are the Jets? No. Let's go 2025. My bad. My bad. Jets. See? Look, there's the Jets. And then the Capitals. Boom. Down here. Maybe the way they have it set up is... This is the Central. This is the Pacific. This is the Atlantic over here, and then this is the Metro. And maybe instead of switching it up every year, they keep it stuck in that quadrant. Because even with March Madness, even the different sections change every single year. I don't know. I don't know. The bracket changes every year. But yeah, leave it up to the NHL to have a weird, like it's so weird. Even baseball does it too. Baseball has a weird. Like, let's go 2020, 2026, no, 2025, MLB playoff bracket. Let's go look at the, okay, so dude, I forget oh my gosh, okay, their 1 seeds are on the bottom. You know, and I'm fine if the 1 seeds are on the bottom, just like have the 1 seeds aligned with each other. Because the staple that I always freaking go back to is this. Because 2017 and 2018, both in the NBA and the NHL, it was so simple where you have the 1, then you have your 2, then you have your 3, and then you have your 4. Or you can mix it up. You can go 1, 2, and then you can have... you know, if you want your 3 up here and you can have your 4 down here, mix it up a little, but like just the way of how, or you can have your 1 right here, 2 right here, 3 right here, 4 right here, or, you know, but just have your 1s on the top, 2s on the bottom. It makes sense. But don't get me started with the NFL. The NFL is so weird where when after you win your game, go here after you win your game. Okay, so it's like, okay, Raiders, great. Like, let's say the Raiders win this one, and then the Steelers win this one. Okay, it's like, Raiders, great job, you won this game, you upset the Texans on the road, you get to go play the Chiefs next round, and then the Steelers win this, and it's like, no, actually, Raiders, guess where you get to go? 'Cause you're the 5th seed. You know, I wish in real time I had like a modifier where I could alter my voice, but it's like, because you're the lowest seed, you get to go play Tom Brady, where, yeah, they get reseeded, because the seedings in the NFL, like, week to week to week, like, it makes 0 sense. Like, it should, you know, winner this, go play the Patriots, winner this, go play the Chiefs, but it reseeds every time, and I don't know. Because if you didn't want it that way, then seed it how it would be. Because seed it March Madness style. This is not seeded March Madness style. This is seeded. The 1 and the 2. Okay, and again they've changed this format. It's different now when you look at the 26 bracket. But if you want, because at the time the Patriots were the best team, if you want them to go play the worst team, have your 6 seed and have your 5 seed go play each other. So 5 and 6 play, and then the 4 and the 3 play. Where, okay, it doesn't matter the winner. It's just so I know. I'm talking in a circle, It kind of sounds as confusing the way I say it. Like the winner of this game, the winner of this game did not go play the Broncos. It ended up being the Bills. But like with how the playoff bracket is set, like my brain would just go, okay, yeah, winner of the, and then the winner of these two go play the. But it's the highest seed. Like it makes sense for. It kind of makes sense to like determine who the home team gets to be with the lower seed, but like that only gets really technical because I mean I think the Bills were the 5th seed, but like if the Patriots lost, because after the Patriots won this game, what was like solidified and locked is right after the Patriots won this Chargers game is, hey, guess what, the AFC Championship is going to go through either Denver or the Patriots, because like with the seeding, it didn't matter if the Jags beat the Bills or the Steelers beat the Texans. None of these teams were going to host a playoff game. So I don't know. I think you should also reward the regular season with winning in the regular season versus, you know what, we played like garbage all year, but then hey, we showed up in the postseason when it mattered the most. I don't know. Now I'm rambling. Sorry about that. Let's get back to what we're really about here, the NHL. But yeah, they were the 3 seed. Because you fast forward to this year, and it's not really a hot take, but I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if both 1 seeds lose in the first round, because Carolina. I think Carolina could beat Boston, but I'm going to be real with you. Whoever wins this one, I have them beating Carolina. I don't see Carolina getting to the Eastern Conference Final. I don't. And Colorado, again, with getting the President Cups trophy, it's like, congratulations, you are cursed. But like if they can get past the Kings, which I do think they can. If Dallas, because Dallas has been hot, Minnesota's been hot, I'm really hard pressed to be like, you know what? Colorado has been so successful, and we've seen it when they have played Dallas, particularly in the postseason. They've been so successful, they're going to turn it around this year. I'd be real hard pressed to predict that. So that's where my hot take would be, that both 1 seeds get knocked out in the first round. And considering where I can't say the same with Dallas, but the hot take could be both the 1 and 2 seeds get knocked out in the first round, because boom, boom, I could see Ottawa beating Buffalo, and I could see Boston beating Carolina. I can't see the Kings, but in this hypothetical, yes. And it's weird because they're both in the division and they're the 1 and 2. Which, this is also why I think the NHL needs to go back to their original format, because you have the top 2 teams in the West, and we as fans don't get to see them in the Western Conference Final as a reward for them getting through whoever they played. No. Let's have them play in round 2. Because what if they beat up on each other so much that winner isn't ready for, Anaheim or Utah sitting on the other end of the Western Conference Final, or Vegas, because Vegas is playing hot right now, and with their new head coach, they have not lost in regulation once. Like, it's been wins. They go beat up each other. They go the distance. They go a long, dragged out 7-game series, and then you have Vegas sitting here, who was able to get rid of Utah in 5, and then get gentleman sweep, or sweep Edmonton, or like let's say the Ducks catch Edmonton in 6, but then you got Vegas sweeping Anaheim in 4, or vice versa, Anaheim pulling it out of thin air, beating Vegas in 5, and then you got Anaheim resting for 2 games worth, while Dallas and Colorado finish it up, and then look at that, Ducks are ready to go, and they jump on them, and they lead the series 1-0, And like I don't know. I don't know. I would just prefer one plays 8, two plays 7, all the way down. But all right. Enough for me rambling. Let me take a swig real quick. Is my music still going? Oh, my music is still going. Here, let me rewind that a little bit. All right. So yeah. Speaking of Vegas and Colorado, let's get to the Eichel goal in overtime, because that's ultimately what decided. See, look, this game's still going. I've been rambling for almost an hour. Oh my, where'd that game go? Okay, here it is. Gamecast. Welcome to Colorado. Yeah, first period started off hot. 2 goals, 1-1. And then I don't think it was a lack of like good chances and stuff in the third, which is why there's no goals. I just think both teams are very evenly matched, and I mean we saw it. Excuse me. Ugh. 1 minute into overtime, Eichel ended up being the deciding factor, making it 3-2. Now, some things I will talk about and say with Colorado. The 2 takeaways that I have for this game is this is why I'm worried about Colorado at home. And it's kind of been like this for the last handful of playoff series, because you have the year Kraken beat them. You have last year where the Dallas series, I think both teams, I think the away team won every single game. I can't remember. But like Colorado is a better team on the road. And from the last 2 games that I've watched Colorado play, where's the Stars one? Oh, so they did beat Dallas. See? Again, 26-7-5. What is their home record? Oh my gosh, they lose more at home. 25-9-6. Dude, that is okay, that's crazy. So then if they who they slated to play? Kings? Okay, watch me break this down real time. Watch this. Watch my brain. Watch how my brain cooks this. Cooks and sautés this. Dog shit of a take. Here we go. What is... Oh my... I did this wrong. Standings. Oh, tell me wise one. Oh, tell me wise numbers. Okay, they've won 4 in a row. So they're a little hotter coming into the postseason. 4 straight wins. But oh my gosh, they are abysmal at home. But look at that. 19-9-10 on the road. So with this Kings one, I would okay. I'm going to dive into the bag a little bit. You're going to hear me say this, and I'm going to say it again in the video. I think this series would actually come down to, can the Avalanche win at home versus can the Kings win on the road? And what I mean by that is, you look at their record, the Kings will get at least because here's the other thing, 10 overtime losses. That means they get into overtime, whether it's they had a lead and blew it, or they came back to at least get to overtime. I think this 4, the difference is 4. I'm not. Yeah, I think it'd be bigger for. Even though 25-9-6 versus 19. Yeah, this is pretty glaring, because if it'd be different if, I mean, look at Calgary for example. No, they 11-26-4 versus their 21-12-5. You can tell that they're more of a home team. They lose in regulation on the road. Like, that's kind of like the standout. But then with the Kings, you can just kind of see it. They'll get in overtime and lose on the road, or they'll, yeah, okay. Yeah, it'd be more of a can Colorado with home ice advantage in that series, because that's where it's locked in right now. They haven't earned their little X, which I don't think. Who would take it from them? Nashville, okay. Oh, they're only a point behind. That is actually really plausible, because Winnipeg's not going. There's 2, 6. So if Winnipeg wins 2 straight, they get to 6, but that's still not enough. So Winnipeg's eliminated. The Sharks are eliminated. So it's if, and the Ducks have 89. They're already in. It's if Nashville can win out, and if the Kings can win out. And funny enough, this is just me. This is my own personal take and spin on it. I feel that when it gets to this point where it's between the Predators and the Kings for that final spot in the postseason, I think, see, look, San Jose and Anaheim, have them play for it. We're this far and deep into, now, they did play, oh my gosh, they played like 2 days ago. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, they've played twice. They've already played twice this month. They took care of business one of the times, so they split 1-1. I don't know, because if they went out and the Kings went out, I think by record, I think the Kings stay in front, points wise. I've made some pretty bad takes already in this. I'm not going to go on a tangent on this one. 87. Okay. So then where Nashville's fault was, and again, this is if both teams hypothetically went out, the fault would have come to them losing to Utah 2 days ago. Yep. Okay. I don't know. Because we saw it with Buffalo and Tampa, with like who gets the top in the Atlantic. You go to the standings in the East. Yeah, they're already in. They're already locked. They're already locked in. They're sitting there with the 94 in the Metro. They have a 93. Well, actually, hold on. Let's go back to the division. So as you can see, there's 3 teams fighting for one spot. There's parts of me where it's like, okay, if you are eliminated, guess what? And funny enough, I think this would also, okay, I'm gonna go in bizarro world here for like 2 minutes. Regular typical fans would be absolutely pissed at this idea that I'm about to conjure up. I think this would stop tanking, and I think this would also improve baseball. But hear me out, is the second that you are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, congratulations, you don't get to play any more games. Now, job security and the ethics behind that, it doesn't make sense, because you have all the staff that work, whether it's food or the vendors or whatever that are at the stadium security wise or whatever. There's 1,000 people out of a job, when you're a baseball, you work at the baseball stadium, where the Diamondbacks play, and it's like, oh, look at that. We were supposed to work from, April to September and stuff, and look at that. We're already out of a job in the middle of May. Damn, we gotta go find another job. But I think just with how scheduling and schedules are made, there's parts of me where it's like, let's cut through the fat, and instead of playing 2 final games that are meaningful, but if they both tie, let's just have the Predators, because this is exactly what was happening with the Bucks and the Panthers. The Bucks and the Panthers were tied. Bucks took the head-to-head advantage because they beat the Panthers, but because mathematically they were all even and all that BS, the winner of the Saints and Falcons game determined who got to go to the postseason versus, no, we actually played and the Bucks won. Bucks should have been the 7th seed. But no, it wasn't them. It ended up being the Panthers. Panthers hosted the Rams. Now, do I think the outcome would have been the same? Yeah, I think the Rams would have beat the Bucks, just like how I thought the Rams would beat the Panthers. That doesn't matter. But I just think Nashville's going to win their games out. The Kings are probably going to win their games out, but then it's going to be the other stuff on if Anaheim can lose one and or San Jose, and we can shimmy a little bit with the points or whatever. When it's like, let's just scrap it and let's have Nashville and Los Angeles. Let's just do a flex game, because I think I discovered this in high school as well too, and it's probably because it's been a decade. It's definitely different now, but like scheduling primetime games on the weekend in the NBA, it was flex scheduled like after the All-Star break, because it's like, oh, we projected, because in the summer we projected that LeBron was going to get traded to the Knicks. We already, penciled it in. Yeah, we'll have the Knicks play Boston on a Saturday night, and it's like, well, LeBron never actually went to New York, so we have to flex, because we thought the Jazz would have been better. We thought the Spurs would have been better. The Raptors, the Warriors, or whatever. And then we find out, like, when we fast forward, we're like, oh, look at that. The Hawks. The Hawks are actually the number one team in the East. Look at the Bulls. The Bulls are doing pretty good. Look at the Cavs. With LeBron, of course, they're doing really good. And it ended up being those teams that would show. And I kind of think when we get to the end here, still have your St. Louis and Chicago and all these other, because if, with what 2020 taught us, where we could just cancel a game whenever, willy-nilly, and just schedule a game out of the blue, go look at some of the football games and whatnot that fall, they could schedule a Nashville, a Predators-Kings game out of thin air like that. Like right now, it's Saturday night. If, by Tuesday, hell, I think we could get a Monday night game. It'd be a quick turnaround to try to get a Sunday game tomorrow. Obviously, no, that wouldn't be ethical. But like, if you give them 48 hours to try to schedule. And again, who do the Kings have? And they have the Kraken. Sorry, this is a long-winded tangent that I'm going on. They have the Kraken, Vancouver, and Calgary. Okay, those are three teams that aren't going to the postseason. Okay, and then who do the Predators have? So I counted 3 games. Hold on, I counted 3 games for the Kings, and only 2 games for the Predators. So again, points favor the Kings if the Kings win out. Just saying. But again, that comes with scheduling. Who played more games coming back from, the Olympics? And then you got San Jose, who is not in the postseason, but you do have Anaheim, who is in the postseason. I don't know. There's parts of me, those 3 games for the Kings, have them go play each other, throw San Jose in there, keep the Ducks game, and have like a bet, because the Ducks are already in. Have the Predators and the Kings play each other, and then for fun, have the Predators play the Ducks to see, or have the Ducks play the winner. Have the Ducks play the winner. I don't know. And then have, like, Nashville and the Kings play. Let's say Nashville wins, so Nashville's automatically in. And then have the Ducks play the loser. I don't know. You could do some kind of 3-way tie like that. I don't know. I thought I was cooking there. I thought I was cooking. I was not. I was in fact burning my food. Because you got 3 eliminated there. Islanders have already mathematically been eliminated, even though they're tied with the Capitals. Ugh. They got 2 more to go. Because the other thing, too, with why they're still playing games now is not for, hey, let's see who the 7th and 8th seed can be. It's for, hey, who has home ice, which I do think, yeah, obviously, let's keep playing the games because there's like 2 or 3 more games, just depending on who the team is. we have seen when you look at the playoff standings, Columbus. The Penguins were playing Columbus. Carolina was playing Ottawa. Tampa Bay was playing. Buffalo was. Who was Tampa playing? Tampa was playing somebody. Maybe it's always been the Habs, but Buffalo was playing the Bruins. Then Colorado was playing the Sharks at one point. Edmonton was playing Utah. This one's been a lock for a while. I don't know. Because, hold on, let me look. D2, D3. Oh, no, I don't even need to look. Minnesota's not catching. Tampa and Montreal. They're tied. Okay, they're tied. No, they're tied. They're playing hot hockey right now. Okay, D2, D3. Wait a minute. Okay, I guess that also confuses me too, where Boston's a Metro team. No, they're not. They're an Atlantic team. Okay, never mind. Forget what I said. Why do we squeeze two Atlantic teams in the Wild? 96, 96, 94. Oh, that's why. Okay. Okay, that answered my question. So Pitt, who has... Oh, yeah, okay. Edmonton and Anaheim. Oh my gosh, okay, so they could be battling over home ice. They could be battling over home ice. That one's pretty locked. I think they even talked about that during the game today, that Penguins will have home ice in the first round. It just depends on who they're playing. Yeah, I don't know. I know that sounds stupid. Way out of to circle back to it. To circle back to also considering that these guys are already all locked in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 teams, because we're talking that the Capitals have a chance. If they win out. Well, you look down. Islanders at 9-1. Let's do a 4 team. Remember 4 nations? Sweden, Finland, Canada, and USA. Again, we're very late into the season. I don't know. Well, with the 4, okay, maybe if it's just 2. If it's a tiebreaker, have a winner take all. But if then it gets to 4, because with the 4, I mean that there's 1 game, 2 games, 3 games. That's 3 extra games that could also do. You have each team. Yeah, that'd make no sense to have a little tournament at the end. And I'm telling you, if the NHL gets to where the NBA is, I don't think they would need to, because I don't think teams tank as much in the NBA. I mean, in the NHL as they do in the NBA. But I don't know. I also think with the whole, you get eliminated, you're dropped out, and you're on a flex schedule for the rest of the season, depending on where teams need you. I think it would also do away with tanking on if you're losing, like how Seattle or Calgary, because Vancouver's been eliminated since the Olympics. Let's be real here. Parts of me that think what would help tanking and fix tanking is now you take your league, you do your worst teams, okay? See, when it lines up like this, San Jose and Winnipeg, see how they're squished in the middle there? That tells me they're eliminated already, mathematically, because there's no way. I don't know. And how is Detroit eliminated, but they're all the way up here versus Utah that's down? Oh wait, Utah 90 points. How many points? Detroit has more points than Utah, but see, that shows how weak the Pacific is. I'd be hard pressed to say, yeah, I think the Pacific's going to win the Stanley Cup, because again, it's been a pretty weak division this year. Um, I'd put my money on a, Metro versus Central. I'd put the house on that. Go to the racetrack. Let's do it. Because the Metros, and you got the Stars. The Stars and the Avs are just playing out of their mind. Both of them. Not tonight, though, for Colorado. Everybody can have an off game. But you put all the losers in the losers bracket, single elimination, and whoever wins gets the top pick. That's how you stop tanking, and you just have, you reward winning. And like for teams like Toronto, where it's like, oh, but our star captain, he was injured, or the Rangers where they've traded away players. It's like, yeah, you've traded away players, and that's why you guys are sucking. So guess what? Continue to suck. Good luck, maybe next year. And I don't know. Now, if some team can catch a glitch in that losers bracket where they get eliminated, but then they win, and then they get the first pick, because I don't know who's the projected top pick to be for this year's draft, but I don't know. All right, let's get to the college game, shall we? Because there's nothing much to talk about in the NBA. Other than the Nuggets. The Nuggets had a 10-point win streak. I wonder where that went. Did it go down the drain? Oh, nope. It's now up to an 11. I am so shocked. I'm not, but I am. The Nuggets, dude, as a 3 seed. Come on. Come on, man. That's too easy. Ooh. The NBA's latest off-court obsession, a 64-square board game. Oh, it wasn't gambling and cards? Oh, must be thinking about the wrong league. Whoops. I could see, dude. The chessboard. Oh, I could see them dragging that into the postseason. Oh, they're gonna milk that one. Nobody played today, right? Because we got we got a lot of games. Oh my gosh, everybody's playing tomorrow. Sheesh. Everybody's playing tomorrow. Hey, Nuggets Spurs. Okay. This one's still going. Let's see, West Coast teams. Yeah, well, it is in Seattle. That makes sense. Phillies took. I didn't watch this game, but I knew it was on. I'm glad it wasn't blacked out, because again, when they black out regional games, it's like, what the hell are we doing? You think everybody has $200 to go to a game? No. What the? Was there a fight? Oh, must be a walk-off. Oh yeah, walk-off. Red Sox. Oh my gosh, 7-1. See, the Rockies are losing. Good. They're back to their. Oh my, that's not even funny. 11-3. Let's look at the standings. I haven't looked at the standings once. Let me guess. Top of the league. No, wait. Overall. Huh. Who would have thought? That's surprising. That surprises me a lot, actually. Okay. I think we might have overreacted the Mets loss. Maybe a little bit. Atlanta. Damn, okay. Padres. Reds. Hell yeah. Yankees. Cards. Okay. Brewers. What the? What the? Look at all these potential playoff teams just sitting in the middle. In no man's land. Yeah, Philly, New York, Houston, Toronto, and the Cubs probably all our postseason teams, and Detroit, and they're all just sitting in no man's land down here. And then you got you got the White Sox. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Pitiful, dude. And this would go back to hey, the second you're mathematically eliminated from the postseason, you're done. Written off. You don't get to play any more baseball. I will say I'm shocked that where are the Rockies? Oh, okay, they're not much better. But to this point last year, let's go to their oh wait, 2025. 2025. We gotta go to first half. March. Let's go around here in the April section. 3-9, 3-10, 3-11, 3-12, 3-13. Oh my gosh. They did not get their fourth win till almost the end of April. So this time last year they only had 3 wins. Get out of here. Alright, let me take a swig and then let's do some college hoops. And by hoops, I mean the hoop on the back of the net. Because we had Denver versus Wisconsin. Which, have they always called themselves the Pios? Because they were doing that on the broadcast, calling them the Pios. And it's like, are they not the Pioneers anymore? Like, what? But alright, people. Yeah, Denver got it done tonight. Super impressed with how. Oh, look at that, dude! Look at the freaking celebration, man. They were down 1-0 in this game, and Wisconsin, like, it kind of turned on them there at the very end. Where I will say the officiating, it wasn't bad, but there were a lot of whistles that should have gone both ways, I will say. But I think this is 15 shots on goal to 31. I think this more has... I mean, look at the Hellebuck with Team USA when they beat Team Canada. I think this win goes to netminder and how many shots. Because the other thing, too, is when I looked at the Denver score with Michigan, which, by the way, and this is how crazy... I might need to do a deep dive video into this, maybe. I'd have to come up with a fun script and, like, really analyze that. There were 3 minutes left in the Michigan game, and they were losing 3-2. Like, it was over. Their season was over. We were going to have a Big Ten national championship, and then they just turned the tide. Tied it up, got to OT. We could go look at the shift. Ooh. Freak, I shouldn't be yawning this much. Sorry, people. Ooh. I could go look at the shift that started it all, but, like, just the fact that they... I mean, yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Now, I will admit, I did predict them to win. I had the winner of Denver, Michigan. Regardless, whoever won, I had them winning it all. The only thing that I wish a little bit different is I wish I would have watched the Frozen 4 a little earlier, because I didn't know this at the time, too. Towards the very end of the game when they pulled their goalie, they did a recast and they re-illustrated what the semifinals were before the Frozen 4. I had no clue Wisconsin they were down on Michigan State, and then they tied it 1-0 in OT. I had no clue that was going on. Now, I will say that's my own fault for not following college hockey, but yeah, let me actually, while we're here, let's see if I can pull up a Frozen for bracket men's 2026 bracket schedule. I'll go bracket here. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, I love this. Oh, I love this. Here we go. Okay, so I would have picked Penn State instead of, let's be real. I would have picked Penn State. And then after the Penn State game, and then Michigan, Penn State, I would have picked Michigan. Come on, let's be real here. Out of Michigan State, UConn, I would have been like, hey, is this basketball? There. Probably would have said something stupid like that. But I would have picked Michigan State. Dartmouth and Wisconsin. This doesn't say. Hold on. Yeah, it does say Dartmouth. I have a little smudge on my screen. I probably would have picked Michigan State. So again, the fact that they really did go on a Cinderella run. And you know what's funny too? And this is like a weird random side tangent that I have on college men's hockey and stuff. Nobody talks about the transfer portal and all that stuff with men's hockey. Notice that if it like comes to maybe women's softball, they talk about the portal, and maybe some parts of women's college basketball they'll talk about the portal. But like other than that, gymnastics, rowing, track and field, men's baseball, because everybody loved Vanderbilt, and I mean, hell, Paul Skeens. Like I guess we've forgotten about Paul Skeens, but nobody talks about the transfer portal with baseball in college. They just don't. It's not as loud as it is with what's the word I'm looking for? Football and basketball, where it's like, yeah, you bought this or whatever. But yeah, give me Michigan, and then I probably would have had Michigan State. Not gonna lie, looking at it, I probably would have chalked it up. Providence out of Quinnipiac. No, I would have picked North Dakota. This one seems about the right. This is probably what I would have picked. And out of Western Michigan and Denver, I would have picked. I probably would have picked. Yucky. I probably would have chalked it, truthfully. Because I probably would have picked a ranked Western Michigan over Denver. Dude, and even Denver, look at their little run. See, okay, this will teach me in the future that rankings don't mean jack-ish in hockey, because look at that. Not ranked. Both of them got in the national championship. That'd be the equivalent of... I want to see my... Can I pull up... Uh-oh. Did he blow it? Bogey. Look, this might put me in some hot freaking water. I don't watch golf. Sorry for all those who I have offended. I don't watch golf. Dude, I love how ESPN doesn't even... Dude, ESPN could give a shit about men's hockey. Did you see all the links that I had to go? Look at this. ESPN could give a shit about college baseball. Look at all these extra links I gotta go through. Versus let's go to, hold on, let's go back to the start. See, even the page is set up different. It's more squished versus spread out here versus college football where it's like, where is it? Oh my gosh, even women's basketball is a little bit more highly sought after. College football, it's like, what you want, boss? You want to talk about spring games? Yeah, let's talk about spring games. Hey, we got articles over here. We got 5 storylines already that we're talking about. We could talk about draft prospects. We could be talking about, Sam Levitt and his impact going to, an SEC school, or, the head coach and the star quarterback of North Texas going to, Oklahoma State. Anything you want, boss, we got it right here. Set up. We got a few links and stuff. Whatever you want. We can look at scores, drafts, everything from this past season versus college hockey where you have to click 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. I actually did a lap there. 4. I gotta click 4 links to get to what I want to look at. They're like, nah, fetch you. You want to know? You want to know who the best hockey team is? I'm not telling you shit. Go find it yourself. That is so. And this isn't even, dude. Who knows who knows the 100% authentication behind that? Because there's so many polls. There's the AP poll. There's the coaches poll. There's the college football playoff ranking. There's so many different rankings in college football. This could be the equivalent of the AP poll for college football. And it's like, I had to click 4 things to get here. That is so funny. But Michigan, North Dakota, Michigan State, Denver, Western Michigan, Minnesota, Duluth, Providence, Dartmouth, Cornell, Penn State, Quinnipiac, Wisconsin, Yukon, Minnesota State, Massachusetts, Merrimack, St. Thomas, Augusta, and Boston College, and Bentley. Where was Boston? Where's just Boston? Boston wasn't in the mix. And then neither was, let's go to rankings. Let's see the NCAA. Oh, here we go. La 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 la. Which the rankings kind of show, 29, 7-1 in regular season, overtime 5-1 in OT. But Michigan, North Dakota, Michigan State, Western, Denver, Dartmouth, Providence. So Denver was no slouch, but when it comes to the rankings on how the big board was and how the big board looked, what was more impressive was 12 seed Wisconsin. So college hockey purists, when it's all said and done, how they'll be looking at this is they'll be like, yeah, this was a 5 seed versus a 12 seed, which again, there's videos on it, which the videos that talk about it and dissect it, very interesting how they talk about it. Hockey's full of upsets, and you can never just chalk it. Football, yeah, you can chalk it with football. You can chalk it with you can kind of chalk it with basketball too. But like hockey and baseball, again, you could be the best team. You could be the most paid team. And this is kind of the illusion that I'm throwing out there for the Dodgers, manifesting it. But the reason why I think this World Series will potentially be the best is this is either the World Series, the Dodgers win a three-peat. So, when was the last time? Last time there was a three-peat. The Yankees from 98 to 2000. So it hasn't happened in 26 years. So we either have a history first of that, or we break the mold, and it's the Braves. Braves would be the same side of the bracket. We have, let's watch how many clicks. 1, 2. It took me 2 clicks to get here. Let's go league. Where this could be the year that I'm no, Cleveland ain't going. Minnesota ain't going. Texas maybe. Houston maybe. Toronto maybe. Detroit, Boston. Again, if Detroit goes to the World Series, let me paint this picture. The reason why it could be arguably one of the best World Series is it's the World Series where the Red Sox, the Red Sox play the Dodgers, and they're the team that prevent the Dodgers from, making a three-peat. Grasping. What I'm trying to find a complete crown before they're crowned. Three-time three-peat champs before they eclipse the three-peat threshold. I was trying to think of a funny word and stalling for time, but yeah, that I think I would put, when you want to look at baseball from a bigger picture and bigger perspective, yeah, Tampa upsetting the Dodgers or Toronto. No, these two teams want to go back to back, but Seattle winning their first and having their first be the one that knocked the Dodgers off from getting a three-peat. Yeah, people would talk about that one for a while. They would talk about that one because go look at the roster. It is the Dodgers to lose. And let's look at overall here. 24, 23. I say I'm pretty, kind of in the middle. 22. Who? Oh yeah, the Astros did. I'm telling you, Dodgers Astros would make a lot of Astros Dodgers would feed a lot of families. And watch how as many. Let's go back to 22 for the fun little setup and background here. Is how much ish people have talked about the Astros for being cheaters. Watch how much in good graces the Astros get with fans, where if they're the ones that knock off the Dodgers for the three-peat, people would all of a sudden, we love the Astros now. And it's like, you guys are full of shit. Get out of here. I know it's a hot take, but so if the Astros did, yeah, what about 2019 when they lost? 21 when they lost? 22 when they won? What about all the times in 2020 when they got to the conference series but lost to the Rays? Like, the amount of times that the Astros have gone to the conference series or the World Series, and by the time the 22 championship rolled around too, they also did clean house. But there's just so much, yes, they were cheating, but they still, there were still series in between. It's one thing if they won 2017, 2019, 2021, 2022, 2023, where, in this 5-year, 6-year timeline, they won 4. That'd be something where it's okay, we need to dissect this more, but the fact that they've lost more World Series than they've won since 2017 kind of tells me they weren't cheating hard enough. And I think whether where the pitch is coming or not, whether if it's going to be a sinker, curve, changeup, you still got to hit it. And that's also not to talk about if your outfield's not catching fly balls, if you're not being able to steal good bases, if your bats get cold, if your pitchers or your closers blow it. There's more than just, hey, you know what sign's coming, let me steal it. Because I don't know who said it best, but the thoughts and the ideas of the person at second literally watching how the pitcher you're getting ready to lead off. You can check in how the pitcher, hey, if the pitcher takes a long deep breath when they're putting the glove back in versus, they're quick to they so many, whether it's baseball bits, like so many baseball channels, John Boy as well, like they've broken it down where, yes, the trash can scandal brought it to light, but there are so many other ways you can cheat in baseball. And if we've learned anything from just baseball history, you can also throw the game on purpose. So, let's also talk about that. Now, do I think the Dodgers threw the 2017 World Series? Absolutely not. Because if they did, guess what? They wouldn't have gone back in 2018. They wouldn't have, the Dodgers would not be where they are now if they threw that one, because they wouldn't give a shit. Think about the Mets, the Royals, Boston, Tampa, the Rangers, Diamondbacks. There are so many teams that from that 20... Look at the Cubbies. And at the time, they were called the Indians, but none of these teams have been back to the big dance. The only team that has been back consecutive amount of times and had a track record to show in the last decade since 2015, Dodgers, Astros. That's it. Yeah, because the Braves won and they haven't been back. And Phillies haven't been back since 22. Look at me double checking and going, yeah, I cooked there. I said something good. Yeah, I think that's legit. I don't know. Am I missing anybody? Because Cubbies never went back. Will you look at that? Anyways, all right. But yeah, let's. I think we already talked a little bit about college hockey, but let's circle back to that college sport. Yeah, let's go this way. Yeah, it would have been fun. It'd have been fun to follow it along a little more. I didn't, which I kind of wish I would have. It was a fun game. It was really good. I think both goaltenders played phenomenal. And I just, again, the redirect, they're right in front of the net, late game. That's what ended up being the turning point there, and what was ultimately. It's funny how they advertise golf over college hockey, and then you scroll down a little bit, and it's like, okay, I guess we can talk about college hockey, but. Yeah, Denver ended up hanging on. Wisconsin had a couple good looks there at the end too. This isn't saying Denver just dominated them. No, this was Denver stole this one at the very end because Wisconsin had their lead. It won't tell me, which I wish it would. Yeah, it won't tell me. Because this is why Gamecast is such a freaking important stat, because I don't remember how long. I can't remember if I don't remember how far into the third period it was when they had their goal. Oh, there it is. 7 minutes in, and then 14 minutes in, and then there's the redirect. Tell me that is not a freaking Home Depot. Bro, AI, you're getting lazy. You get lazy. That is so funny. But, yeah, no, congratulations to Denver on winning. Super happy for him. Because, again, it was such a fun game. Where's another fun? Does this show any highlights? Nah, it doesn't show any highlights. But, yeah. They were playing in Vegas, and Vegas played... So I guess Vegas won twice tonight. So, anyways, all right, people. We're gonna do a hard out. So people on the shorts side of things, thank you all for the subscribe. How many subs do we gain? I think we gained 2. Let me look. All right, y'all. See y'all. Okay. That was quick. All right. I'll come over here. I gotta get some things ready. We can close out of that. Wait, so then does that mean? Ah, sweet. Okay. We are definitely doing a gaming stream tonight. Definitely got to be doing one of those. But yeah, no, I'm just around the bases, remembering everything we've covered. Let me check the chat here. All right, sick. Okay, people. All right, no, those are my thoughts on basketball, football, baseball, hockey, everything. Thank you guys for listening to me ramble. If you guys like Mario, stick around. We're gonna have a stream on that. But yeah, let me go look at let's go look at our totals. I think, let me double check. I think we've hit 1,000 on the UNC video. Have we? Hold on, let me look. My our MVP one's growing a little bit. No, we aren't there yet. Well, let me show y'all. We aren't there yet. We're on 47. 47. We're almost to 50 there. But we're at 957 on the UNC one. You can tell the difference between talking about the Eagles versus talking about, draft and anyways. Yeah, no, it's catching a little bit of fire, which is good. Let me see if people are still viewing it. No, not as much. Not as much, which is fine. That is such a cool line to look at. I'm not gonna lie, because again, not all of my video. Whoops. Where'd that video go? I had 2 of those open. That's funny. I had 2 of them. That's funny. Not all of my videos. Not all of them, but like, not all of them can do this little loop, that little whoop. But with the videos that have been able to do that, I think it's pretty fun to look at. Which, again, big YouTubers, like, they probably get it because they're like, oh yeah, dude. But instead of the K, it'll be like millions, like 8.3 million impressions. Like, this is, to me, this is so fascinating because you can see, oh, it got popular because a lot of people clicked on it and they're like, yeah, impression click. So you show 10 people. No, you show 100 people. No, 10 people, 9. Well, if you show 9%, what would it's basically 1. If you show 10 people, 1 person's gonna click it. 10 random people, 1 person will click it. Because it's if it was 10%, and you show 10 people, only 1. Versus, yeah, I think that's how that math breaks down. But again, it's like in a room full of 10 random people scrolling through the internet. So out of 8,000 people, and then 10% of them, so 80 people actually, but then round it down, 80 people actually click. I don't know. Hell, I don't know. Math is too complicated. I don't get it. But all right, guys. I thank y'all for listening to me ramble this long. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Stick around. We're gonna do some Mario, but I thank you guys for hanging out. Those are my thoughts on Denver winning the national championship. A great day of hockey. And with Ovi, I don't think he retires. Maybe he does. But I'm hard pressed to think that he does. I really think he could do another year. I don't know. I don't know. And then it was also Kopitar's last game. Well, not technically because there is the playoff series, but I gotta keep that one in mind. The one about the Avalanche and the Kings, because if that's what the playoff series is, I think that series is won dependent on if the Avs can defend home ice, because the Kings will steal a game or two, but that's what the deciding factor is who can win on the road. Boom. That's my hot take. That's my hot take, and I wouldn't be surprised if Carolina and Colorado are eliminated in the first round. Boom. Give me that. Anyways, see you guys later.